If you followed my instructions from episode 3, then you would know that there are 2 shortcuts to Zoro'S Domain as an adult. I'll be showing both. First, we want to enter the Lost Woods from Goron City. Getting here, head left to find a deep fountain. Speaking with Mito, we explain to him that Saria won't be returning to Kokiri Forest. Even though Mito doesn't finish his sentence, he implies that Saria has been waiting for Link because she really likes him. After saying this, he asks him to relay this message to Link, even though he is standing right there. He ends the conversation by apologizing for being mean to Link. Now that was a sad conversation. After that, you want to dive into the depths of the fountain. This is one shortcut to the end of Zora's River. Remember when we planted a magic bean into the soil in episode 3? As an adult, it has grown into a hovering plant that can take us to the other end of Zora's River. Take a look at what has happened to Zoro'S Domain after 7 years. Yep, it's completely frozen over. The shop is blocked off by a wall of ice, and King Zora is also frozen. We need to take our investigation over to Zora's fountain to find out more. Jump across the massive chunks of ice until you reach a cave. This is the ice cavern. I struggled in this place when I was a kid, and you'll soon find out why that is.
I'm freezing my nuts off!
That's to be expected. You're only wearing a tunic after all. The enemies made of ice are known as Freezards. They blow an icy breath that will cause Link to freeze his nuts off. Kinda like that. When that happens, rotate the analog stick in circles until he is free. Sometimes Navi will be labeled green. When this happens, play the Song of Storms to summon a wingless fairy to heal your hearts and restore your magic meter. Defeat every enemy here to move on to the next area. Occasionally, you will find rooms with silver rupees. Collect them all to move on to the next area. Ah, now this is the room where I had trouble when I was a kid. Not only are there Freezards, but there are several ice keys that will swoop down. Before I could even obtain the blue fire, I was frozen 3 times by ice keys. Just before the second time, Navi's dialogue popped up. I think she wanted Link to freeze his nuts off.
I froze my nuts off!
I feel bad for you, dude, but you might want to collect that blue fire into a bottle so that you can proceed further into the dungeon.
You know what? You!
Jeez, Link, you know, I'm sorry that you froze your nuts off, but you don't need to get testy with me. Look, that white Wolfos has your nuts. I'm sure you know what to do. I'm not gonna lie, I burst out into laughter when the white Wolfos dropped Deku nuts. I kinda felt as though the universe wanted me to continue the joke. So, opening this chest gives the iron boots. With them, you can sink down to any body of water. A useful item for the next dungeon. Like any Deus Ex Machina, Sheik appears at the right time to tell Link that, with the exception of one Zora, that their entire species is stuck underneath the ice. Sheik saved Princess Ruto, but now she's at the Water Temple. He explains to Link that the monster in the Water Temple is responsible for the frozen curse. Sheik informs him that he will teach a new song if Link has the courage to save the Zoras. Sheik's quote describes that as time passes, people move like a river's flow that never ends. A childish mind will become noble, young love becomes deep affection, and the clear water surface is a reflection of growth. He then plays a serenade of water for Link to reflect upon himself. As usual, Sheik vanishes after the performance. Use the iron boots to sink to the bottom of this small pool of water to leave the area. That's the end of the ice cavern. Do you have anything to say before we never come back here, Link? Good choice of words. We can unfreeze King Zora using the blue fire acquired from the ice cavern. The reward we get is a free Zora tunic, which allows us to breathe underwater. With the newly acquired Zora tunic, we are officially ready to tackle the Water Temple. Don't forget like how I did to speak with Bonoru. To be able to summon his buddy, Pierre, play the same 8-note melody to him that you already played in the past. This should enable you to unlock the ability to summon Pierre anywhere that prompts you. A hint for locations that you can play this song. Just look for a place where Navi will turn green and she's out of reach. It's now officially time to put on the right gear to enter the water temple. I'll be quiet so that you can listen to the introduction of the song for this place. A fitting tone to set the mood for a place that will be very tedious, wouldn't you say? This place will be very confusing for new players, so I'll try to show how to get around this place to the best of my abilities. Come down here to enter a hallway marked by torches, and we will be greeted by Princess Ruto of the Zoras. She introduces herself as Link's fiancé because she hasn't forgotten the vows they made when they were young, but it was more like her pushing herself onto Link. She tells us what we already know. Zoro'S Domain became frozen, Sheik saved her from under the ice, and she is working to save everyone. She tells us there are 3 locations where we can change the water level in the temple. She asks Link to follow her, and when we do, it leads to a room filled with spikes. Defeating them reveals the map. When you find a place like this that harbors the royal family's crest, you can change the water level. This one lowers the water to the lowest level. The first key for the dungeon is locked behind a door that must be activated by torches. Then you must defeat 3 shell blades to obtain the key. To obtain the next key, push the block and go here. Move past the geyser room to enter the Whirlpool Room. Hit the switch in the dragon's mouth and head this way to obtain the key. Enter the tower and raise the water level. By doing so, we are given a hint as to where to go next. Down here, to proceed to the next key, defeat 5 spikes and 2 shell blades. Once complete, you should be able to obtain the key. Head this way to obtain the compass. This will point out locations for chests that you haven't not obtained yet. Go back to the room where you met Princess Ruto once you have raised the water level to floor 2. Behind the vulnerable wall is the next key. Before proceeding to the 3rd floor, be careful of the Tektite because it will push Link off the geyser. At this location, you can raise the water level to floor 3. For this next part, you will need to keep 2 keys in your inventory, one to enter the Waterfall Room, and another to enter the room beyond that. To get past this room, hit the kinetic switch to raise and lower the water level as needed. This will cause the dragon statues to move. Enter the room with a lone tree surrounded by water and head to the other end of the room. Notice that Link's reflection disappears. Looking back reveals Dark Link.
Goody goody 2 shoes, goody goody.
This is possibly the toughest mini-boss in the game, because Dark Link will mimic regular Link's movements if he uses just a sword. In my experience, Dark Link doesn't respond to the Megaton Hammer. I always thought that it was because he wasn't programmed for it. Entering the room after defeating Dark Link and his Genjutsu vanishes, we will be able to obtain the long shot from a chest. This extended version of the hook shot is what we need to defeat the boss of the dungeon. After obtaining the long shot, head down to a room filled with vortexes. The next key you need is on the other side. Hit the eye switch with arrows to open the gate and hook onto the chest as soon as the gate opens. Raise the water level to the 2nd floor again if you haven't already, and follow the direction that I take here. You'll have to enter the room again once you pull the block out of the first spot. Push the block out of the way to find the final small key for the dungeon. Sink down to the 1st floor and head north. This is where the long shot will come in handy. Keep hooking onto the targets to reach the next room. You will be blocked by 6 Tektites. Arrows will be useful here. Once most Tektites are gone, swim across to the other end of the room. The next room will be tricky if you are underprepared. This room has multiple stingers, which can be quickly dispatched with an energy spin. There's also a hidden block in the room that is needed to progress further. Follow what I do here to make progress. Now, the boss key for the dungeon might be easy to miss for some people. Just follow the directions that I take to reach the location. It is hidden underneath where the boulder falls down. Use the final small key on the door and you'll be able to reach the boss key. We are now ready to face the boss of the dungeon. Come over here and run past the blade traps. When you get to the boss room, someone will shout to Link to be cautious of the water. I always thought that it was Princess Ruto saying this. Jump onto any of the middle platforms and you will be given a cutscene for the main boss of the dungeon, Morpha, the giant aquatic amoeba. When the amoeba travels along its tentacle, it is susceptible to being hooked with a long shot. I tried to demonstrate that you can get it stuck into a corner, but I hit Morpha into a spike, enabling it to escape easily. If you are hit by one of the tentacles, it will latch onto Link and throw him across the room like a ragdoll, dealing 3 hearts of damage in the process. Hook onto it again, and with one final swing from the sword, Morpha is defeated. As you can see, it was a close call for me because I was almost hit by the tentacle again. That would have been bad. Enter the warp point to return to the Chamber of the Sages in the Temple of Light. This time we are greeted by Princess Ruto. She bluntly states that she expected no less from the man that she chose to be her husband, and that the people of Zoro'S Domain will eventually return to their original states. She catches Link off guard by saying that she wanted to offer her eternal love to him, but realizes that she can't do that as a Sage of Water, saying that she now needs to guard the Water Temple. She then teases Link by asking if he's searching for Princess Zelda, to which she responds that she can sense that Zelda is alive. She states that she knows that nothing will stop Link in his quest for justice and peace, and hands him the water medallion, telling him to take it respectfully. When the screen fades, she asks Link to thank Sheik on her behalf. You're given a cutscene on the water returning to Lake Hylia. Sheik comments on how, as it rises, the evil vanishes from the lake. Sheik acknowledges that Ruto wanted to thank him, saying that they need to return peace to Hyrule for her sake as well. He states that because Link and Ruto destroyed the monster that all is as it was at the lake. After the quiet exchange between Link and Sheik, Sheik vanishes in a brilliant way, on top of the tree to dive into the lake. Before I sign off, Sheik dove into a location that hints at a secret. Take out your arrows and come over here to shoot one in the direction of the rising sun. The tablet Link stands on provides information on doing just that. Swim over to obtain the fire arrow. This will be needed later on. If you took time to watch this video, I would like to thank you for doing so. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. I apologize for implying that I will upload every week. I'm soon going to have a very busy schedule that prevents me from doing so. In the next video, we are going to go to Kakariko Village for the next warp song. Until next time, I hope to see you all on a paradise planet.